Hello, welcome to the Sound of Science, the place where we deconstruct unscientific bogus and silly scams. Let's go get them. Hello, you wonderful critical thinkers. Today I want to address a rather sensitive topic. At least, some Christians get very upset when you call this out. But I think it matters, so I made a video about it. Now, you probably saw that the second word in the title of this video doesn't make much sense. It's kind of a non-existing word. But when you say it out loud, you know that we're talking about a very serious word that refers to a despicable act of violence. But I kind of disguised that word, hoping I would not trigger the YouTube algorithm. But now that I do the narration of this video, I have to find another word that kind of sounds a bit similar. So let's call it shaped. God shaped Mary. But I guess we all know what I mean. It is the thing that you hear when you say the second word in the title of the video. That is my position on how Mary got pregnant. She was shaped by the God character. Christian apologists, they don't want to hear this. And of course, Christian apologists make it even worse. So today I had a discussion with one of the Christian commenters on my channel, and I basically said, your God shaped that poor Mary, the mother of the Jesus character. And of course this Christian called me a liar. That is what many of them do if you tell them something that they don't like. Note that the stereotypical image of the friendly, soft-spoken, polite Christian, the image that I grew up with, well, it doesn't seem to match reality. Many Christian apologists on YouTube are kind of foul-mouthed bullies. Anyway, this guy called me a liar because in Luke 1:38 we can read that Mary was okay with being impregnated by the God character. And that type of reasoning makes me physically sick, because this is what happened in the Bible. So there is this God who drowns your entire town if you don't obey him. Men, women, children, babies, this God doesn't care about human lives. If just some of them don't obey him, he will drown everyone. As we can read in the Bible itself, Genesis 7:11 and 7:12. It describes in detail how this God got angry at the people. They didn't obey him. So what did this God do? He deliberately and voluntarily drowned everyone in a planned and systematic manner, except for Noah and the lucky 7. So as of that moment, everyone who gets a request or command from this God knows that this God might drown the entire village if you refuse. So you better say yes. It's exactly how the mafia works. First, they set fire to your restaurant, and then when you have rebuilt the place, after a few months they come back and they make you an offer that you can't refuse. That's what the Christian God does. Anyway, so Noah and the gang, they inbreeded themselves for a while, and then fast forward a few thousand years. There was this lovely woman called Mary. She was just minding her own business, living in Nazareth. And then one day, this God character comes along, and this God character says to Mary, I'm going to make you pregnant. And Mary, she knows who this God is. Mary knows that if you don't obey this God, he will drown your husband, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, and everyone in your entire village, including babies and children. This is how this God has demonstrated in the past that he will respond to people who do not obey him. So, knowing all of this, whatever answer Mary will give, it's now compromised. She can no longer speak freely. In her answer, she has to weigh the possibility of her God killing her entire village if she says no to his request. So Mary made a decision. She sacrificed herself to save everyone else from being murdered by this evil God. So then Mary said, it's okay, you can make me pregnant, because she had no other choice. Within that kind of power dynamic, a woman doesn't feel free to give her honest opinion. Mary's testimony was not valid. that testimony was produced under the implicit threat of violence. The Christian God is very much like former dictators, such as the African dictator Idi Amin, who impregnated women all over the place. They didn't dare to say no to him for fear of being punished. And then some guy in my comment section says, "Read the Bible, you lying atheist. Mary did consent with the God character making her pregnant." You sick fuck. This God character abused his ultimate power and his implicit threat of violence to force Mary into agreeing to be impregnated. That is plain and simple rape. It really makes me sick to the stomach that there are Christians who are justifying this disgusting behavior of their God. And the sad lesson to be learned from this horrible Bible story is that if you are powerful enough, if you threaten people enough with physical violence, you can do to women whatever you want. Do you think it's a coincidence that many Christian denominations, including the largest one, the Catholic Church, treat women as second-class civilians? It's not a coincidence. That horrible Bible book promotes that kind of repulsive crap. The men who lead the Christian cult should be ashamed of themselves, and women who vote for political parties who uphold Christian doctrines are brainwashed into voting for their own oppression. It is sad, very sad. Thanks for watching.